Hello, young explorers. Get ready for another exciting adventure with Pete the Curious Cat. Join him as he explores the meadow behind his house and meets Max the Mouse and Penny the Hedgehog as they embark on a thrilling journey full of laughter, surprises, and friendship. Are you ready to dive into a world of fun and excitement? Let's begin the adventure with Pete and his pals. Here it goes. Pete was a curious cat who loved to explore. One sunny morning, he decided to take a walk through the meadow behind his house. "I wonder what I'll find today," he said as he strolled along the winding path. The meadow was alive with sounds and smells. Bees buzzed from flower to flower. Birds chirped cheerful tunes from the branches above. Pete's nose twitched at the sweet scent of honeysuckle drifting on the breeze. Up ahead, a flash of movement caught Pete's eye. He crept closer and peeked through the long grass. A tiny brown mouse was nibbling on a fallen acorn, his little nose wiggling as he ate. "Aha!" said Pete. "A new friend to play with." He crouched down low, his tail swishing side to side. With a mighty pounce, he leapt out towards the mouse. The mouse squeaked in terror as Pete landed next to him with a thump. He scurried away as fast as his tiny feet could carry him. "Wait! Don't run away!" called Pete. "I only want to play!" But the mouse didn't stop. He raced under a fallen log and squeezed into a narrow hole, his furry behind disappearing from view. Pete sighed. "Oh dear, I didn't mean to frighten him." He lay down and rested his chin on his paws, wondering what to do. After a few minutes, Pete had an idea. He plucked a lovely honeysuckle flower and placed it next to the mouse's hole. "Please come out, little mouse," he called softly. "I brought you a sweet treat as an apology." For a while, nothing happened. Then Pete noticed the flower quiver. Out poked the mouse's pink nose, followed by his head as he sniffed the air. His beady black eyes went wide at the sight of the honey-filled flower. Slowly, he crept out of his hole and nibbled a drop of nectar. Delicious," he squeaked. Feeling braver now, he came all the way out and began munching on the rest of the blossom. Pete smiled, glad to see the mouse wasn't too frightened. He stayed very still so he wouldn't alarm his new friend. Once the flower was gone, the mouse turned to Pete. "Thank you for the tasty snack," he said in his tiny voice. "My name is Maxwell, but you can call me Max." "You're very welcome, Max," said Pete. "My name is Pete. I'm sorry for pouncing on you earlier. I just wanted someone to play with. Will you stay and be my friend?" Max's nose twitched thoughtfully. "I suppose we could try playing together," he finally said. "But promise you won't gobble me up." Pete chuckled. "I promise. Friends don't eat friends." The two spent the rest of the morning playing together. They chased butterflies through the meadow and peered under rocks to spot creepy, crawly things. Max showed Pete his favorite nooks and crannies, like the twisty tunnels he had dug beneath an old oak tree. When it was time for lunch, they headed back to Pete's house. His owner had left a bowl of delicious salmon-flavored cat food on the porch. Pete politely offered Max a bite. "Thank you, but I prefer nuts and seeds myself," said Max. He scampered to the bird feeder and filled his cheeks with tasty morsels. After their meal, the new friends felt rather sleepy. They found a cozy patch of sun on the porch and curled up for an afternoon nap. Max nestled snugly in the crook of Pete's arm. The two were fast friends from that day onward. Each morning, Pete would wait by the old oak tree for Max to emerge from his tunnels. Then they'd set off on adventures together. Some days they'd climb trees, nimble Max scurrying up the trunk while Pete bounded from branch to branch. Other days, they'd prowl the pond shore looking for frogs. Whenever Max found an acorn or seed he couldn't carry alone, Pete would help bring it back to his hole. And Max was always quick to warn Pete if a neighborhood dog got loose. At night, Pete would walk Max home, making sure he arrived safely. "See you tomorrow," Max would call as he disappeared into his hole. "I can't wait for our next adventure, friend." "Me either," Pete would reply. "Sweet dreams, little buddy." One sunny afternoon, the two friends were out exploring when they came across a hedgehog taking a nap in the meadow. Her prickly back rose and fell with each snuffly snore. "Let's play a trick on her," whispered Max. His eyes glinted mischievously. "I don't know," said Pete. "She looks pretty grumpy if you wake her up. Remember what happened to Owl last week?" The hedgehog had given poor Owl a good nip on the wing when he accidentally disturbed her slumber. Max shivered at the memory. "Don't worry, I have a fun idea," said Max. He scurried over to a bush and nibbled off 2 small twigs. Then he handed one to Pete. "We'll tickle her tummy with these. It'll give her a funny surprise." "Well, okay," said Pete, "but we'd better run fast when she wakes up." They snuck up to the sleeping hedgehog, stifling giggles. Ever so gently, they began tickling her belly with the twigs. The hedgehog twitched her nose. Then she wriggled and snorted. Suddenly, her eyes popped open. "Roar!" she roared, leaping to her feet. Pete and Max jumped back in alarm as she curled into a prickly ball and began rolling after them. "Run!" yelled Max. They took off with the hedgehog bouncing close behind. Pete scrambled up a tree while Max dove into some bushes. The hedgehog rolled right under Pete's branch, still in a huff. Once she had passed, Pete peered down. Phew, that was close. I don't think tickling grumpy animals is a very good game after all. Just then, a butterfly fluttered by. It landed right on the hedgehog's nose. She uncurled in surprise. When she spotted the beautiful butterfly, her grumpy frown softened into a smile. "Ooh, how lovely," she murmured. She watched the butterfly spread its wings before taking off again in a swirl of color. Pete blinked in surprise. Maybe she's not so prickly after all. He leapt down from the tree and slowly approached the hedgehog. "I'm sorry we tickled you," he said. "We were only playing." Well, just don't do it again," said the hedgehog, but her spines were no longer bristled in anger. Max poked his head out from the bushes. "We promise. Friends?" He held out his tiny paw. The hedgehog looked back and forth between Max and Pete. Finally, she extended her own paw and shook Max's. "Friends," she agreed with a smile. "My name is Penelope Pricklepants, but you can call me Penny." "Pleased to meet you, Penny," said Pete. "Would you like to join our adventures?" "That sounds lovely," said Penny, her eyes lighting up. So the 3 new friends spent the rest of the afternoon together. Pete and Max were careful not to disturb Penny's naps. But when she was awake, they played together delightfully. They discovered that Penny loved dandelions, so they had a contest to see who could find the most for her. Max won by collecting a whole heap behind the big oak tree. The new friends chased butterflies and watched the clouds drift by. And when it was time for Penny's next nap, Max and Pete curled up nearby and had a snooze too. From then on, the trio was inseparable. Each day brought new escapades and explorations. With Penny's keen sense of smell, Max's underground tunnels, and Pete's climbing skills, they made quite a team. One morning, they met a crow family who had moved into the tallest oak tree. There were 3 noisy baby crows who pestered their mother nonstop for food and attention. "They sure are a feisty bunch," laughed Pete. as the babies wrestled with each other on the branch above. Suddenly, one crow tumbled right off the branch with a startled squawk. Penny quickly rolled underneath and caught the little crow on her back before it hit the ground. The crow parents cawed their thanks as Penny gently set their chick back in the nest. From then on, the crows were good friends too. They would keep an eye out for danger from their high vantage point and call out warnings to the trio below. On warm evenings, Pete, Max, and Penny would gather fireflies in the meadow. They'd make little lanterns out of acorn caps and stick the glowing insects inside. Then they'd have a dazzling parade, trailing the flickering lights through the grass. Owls and bats would watch from above, hooting and chittering at the spectacle. The three friends loved having adventures together, but their very favorite thing was snuggling up to watch the sunset. As the sky darkened, Max would tell stories about his ancestors, who were adventurous mice from faraway lands. Pete would make up silly songs that sent them all into giggling fits, and Penny recited poems in her posh British accent that made even the crickets stop their chirping to listen. Curled together in their cozy patch of meadow, surrounded by the fading glow of fireflies and the rising glitter of stars, the friends felt lucky to have found each other. Their bond was the kind that would last forever. No matter what adventures tomorrow held, they knew they'd always have each other. And that was the greatest treasure of all. The moral of a story is like a lesson or a message that the story is trying to teach us. The story teaches us that making new friends and being kind to others can lead to wonderful adventures and lasting friendships. It shows that even when we make mistakes, like scaring someone unintentionally, we can make it right by being gentle and offering friendship. So the moral is to be kind, make friends, and have fun together. Here are the meanings of some of the interesting words used in the story. I've got a bunch of awesome words that might sound a bit fancy, but don't worry, I've also got some super cool and exciting words that mean the exact same thing. And guess what they're called? Synonyms. Let's dive in and learn together and turn our reading adventure into an explosion of fun and excitement. The first word is explore. Explore means to go on an adventure and discover new places or things. It's like being a detective and looking for hidden treasures in a big park. Other words that mean the same thing as explore are investigate, venture, and journey. The second word is vantage. Vantage means having a good view from a high place where you can see things well. Picture being on a tall tower where you can see everything around you clearly. Other fun words that mean the same thing as vantage are viewpoint, perspective, and outlook. The third word is pounce. Pounce means to jump quickly onto something, like a cat jumping after a toy. Picture a cat leaping forward to catch a bouncing ball. Other words that mean the same this as pounce are leap, spring, and lunge. The fourth word is strolled. To stroll means to walk slowly and calmly, like taking a relaxed walk in the park. Imagine going for a leisurely walk while enjoying the fresh air. Other fun words that mean the same this as strolled are wandered, sauntered, and ambled. The fifth word is nestled. Nestled means to be cuddled up in a comfy and cozy way, like in a soft blanket. Imagine a teddy bear cuddled up with a warm blanket, feeling cozy. Other words that mean the same this as nestled are snuggle, huddled, cuddled. I hope you had an amazing time learning these words. Memorize them and use them in your conversations to show how smart you are. If you're hungry for more exciting words and amazing stories, don't miss out. Hit that subscribe button and let's keep the learning and fun going together. Your journey to becoming a word wizard is just getting started. Are you ready to shine as a storytelling superstar? Get those excitement levels up, because here comes 5 thrilling questions that are all set to challenge your knowledge and attention to the story. When you answer them with a flash of brilliance, you're going to feel like the ultimate story champion. Are you amped up for the quiz? Get ready, because we're diving right in to put your memory to the ultimate test. Question 1. What does Pete like to do? A. Sleep all day. B. Watch TV. C. Explore. D. Play video games. The correct answer is C. Explore. Question 2. How does Max feel when Pete pounces on him? A. Happy. B. Excited. C. Angry. D. Scared. The correct answer is D. Scared. Question 3. What do the friends make out of acorn caps and fireflies? A. Lanterns. B. Toys. C. Umbrellas. D. Swords. The correct answer is A. Lanterns. Question 4. Who do Pete, Max, and Penny meet one sunny afternoon? A. A dancing bear. B. A sleeping hedgehog named Penny. C. A flying squirrel. D. A talking rock. The correct answer is B. A sleeping hedgehog named Penny. Question 5. What did the friends do with the fireflies in the meadow? A. Release them. B. Played tag with them. C. Made lanterns. D. Collected them in a jar. The correct answer is C. Made lanterns. Big cheers and a big high five to all you super smart kids for acing every single question. You're awesome, and your focus on the story totally paid off. For those of you who didn't get all the answers, don't be disappointed. You're amazing too, and your effort shines super bright. Feel free to watch the video again and answer all the questions right the next time. I know you're going to rock even harder the second time. And here's an exciting secret. If you loved this story and want to catch more incredible adventures like this one, make sure to hit that magical subscribe button. That way you won't miss out on any of the new stories we're cooking up for you. Until I come your way with a new story, keep exploring, keep growing, and keep being the incredible person you are.